Good afternoon, my dear students. In yesterday's topic, we have studied the theory of interference fringes. In my current topic, I am going to tell you about the methods of obtaining interference patterns, or you can say classification of interference. Basically, there are two methods of obtaining interfering beams from the same source to produce interference pattern. These are classified as division of wavefront. Second one is division of amplitude. We will discuss these two methods one by one. Now first of all, let us come to the division of wavefront. Here the wavefront means a single beam which has been emitted by a source of light. So in this method, we simply what do? In this method, the wavefront is divided. Means the beam is divided into two parts just by using the phenomena of reflection, refraction or diffraction in such a manner that the two parts must form coherent sources. The two parts which have been obtained from a single wave, they must be of coherent in nature. You might have studied Young's double slit experiment in your lower classes. That was the example of this type of wavefront or division. Now see, Young's double slit experiment, what do? There is one source of light, that is S, and you obtain two sources of light by using two slits. So where division of wavefront is used by illuminating two slits using a single source. The two slits serve the purpose of coherent sources to obtain interference pattern. So later on, Fresnel's biprism, Lloyd's single mirror formula, their Lloyd's pattern, etc. These are used to in this method to obtain the interference patterns. Source must be a point source or line source for the first type of division. That means in division of wavefront, the source must be, it is compulsory for the source to be a point source or a line source. Alright. Now come to division of amplitude. What is the meaning of division of amplitude? Now see, in this method, a single beam splits into two beams by partial reflection and partial refraction. I think I remember the topic of Michelson's Morley experiment, which we have studied in your last semester in mechanics, BSc part 1. So there is the method Michelson's Morley interferometer or Michelson's Morley experiment, where we have used the division of amplitude. I'm sorry. Now in this method, what do? We do a single beam splits into two beams by partial reflection and partial refraction. Refraction here means the transmission, such that the two splitted beams serve as two coherent sources to obtain or to produce interference pattern. The first experiment performed by using this method was Michelson's Morley interferometer. So we will discuss this interferometer in detail in this chapter. So I am just going to tell over here as the first year experiment. You have used a glass plate, half silvered glass plate, in which one of the light beam is incident and that is being splitted into two beams. The one which is traveling along the mirror M1 and the second one which is traveling along the mirror M2, the reflected beam and the reflected beam. That means in Michelson's experiment, we have used this method, which is known to be division of amplitude. So my dear students, these two methods are not new for you. You have already used these two methods. The first one has been used in Young's double slit experiment and this one has been used in the Michelson's Morley interferometer. Alright. Now the source, later on Newton's Newton's ring experiment. It was Newton's ring experiment. It was also in detail in your syllabus. We will discuss this later on. Was performed. The source may, see I have used the word may over here. The source may be any, that is a point source or a line source. In division of wavefront, the source must be a point source or a line source. So here may be any source, or it may be a point source, or it may be a line source, it may be any extended source of light even. Alright, this is all about the two types of interferences obtained from the single source. Now the next topic is phase change on reflection. This is also known as principle of optical reversibility. Principle of optical reversibility. Now see, what is the statement of this principle? It states that if the reflected and refracted, here the means refracted means the transmitted beam. If the reflected and the refracted beams of light are made to retrace their paths, that means they have been reflected back, then on joining their retraced paths, that means if we joined their retraced paths after reflection, what happens? They recreate the incident beam traveling in the opposite direction. That means if I retrace the two partial beams, reflected and refracted, on joining their retraced paths, they will create the incident beam traveling in the opposite direction. The intensity of the backward traveling beam is the same as that of the incident beam, but there must be a condition provided. What is the condition? Provided there is no absorption of light during its propagation in the given media. That means no light must be absorbed in the given media in which transmission has been taken place. Alright, this is the meaning of the principle of optical reversibility. Now I'll explain this on the basis of this figure. See the figure. I have taken over here as a glass slab. X, Y, Y dash, X dash. N, A, N dash. It is the normal to the, see, N, A, N dash. It is the normal to the surface XY of the glass slab. Okay? So glass slab is a denser medium and the medium around it is a rarer medium. It may be air also. It may be air also. Alright? N, A, N dash is the normal to the surface XY at point A. So I incident a ray of light OA having amplitude this one. So I have shown over here as the amplitude with double-headed arrow. At point A, this beam is splitted in two partial beams. The first one, which is reflected beam, travels along AC, and the second one, which is a refracted beam, travels along AB. So what I do, I put the mirrors, perfectly polished mirrors, M1 in the path of AB beam and M2 in the path of AC beam. These two mirrors have been placed at 90 degree to the beams AB and AC respectively. Now what happens when this beam gets incident on this mirror at 90 degree? It gets reflected back. That means mirror is responsible to retrace its path along CA. Similarly, the ray AB has been reflected back by the mirror M1 after getting incident at an angle of 90 degree along the path BA. So the two partial beams again meet at point A. They join each other at point A. At point A, they recreate their own beam AO. That means they recreate a backward traveling beam with the same amplitude. Alright? This is the principle of optical reversibility. Now see what happens. Figure A shows an incident ray OA incident at point A on the interface XY of the two media. This is partially reflected along AC and partially refracted along AB. The two partial rays AB and AC are reversed with the help of the two mirrors M1 and M2 respectively. The two reversed rays rejoin together at point A and form a ray AO. See, it is ray AO. That is the backward traveling incident ray. In this case, there is no absorption of light in the denser medium. That means in denser medium, the intensity of light absorbed is 0. That means no absorption of light has been taking place. Now see, then the intensity of the ray OA and AO. OA is the incident ray and AO is the backward traveling incident ray. They both have the same intensity. Intensity of the two will be the same. This is the meaning of principle of optical reversibility. Now see what happens to the change in phase. So how the phase has been changed? Consider a light wave of amplitude E is incident on the interface XY separating the two media. This has been shown in your figure on the next page. This is the figure I have drawn over here. XY, it is the interface of the two media. Medium around it is air, and this is the glass medium. XY separates the air from the glass. So OA is the incident ray. Its amplitude is E. It is being incident at point A. So a part of it is being reflected along AC, and a part of it is refracted, means transmitted along AB. Now see how the amplitude of AC is R1 into E, and how the amplitude of AB is T1 into E. How it comes to be there. Now see what happens. I'll move to the previous page again. Now see, consider a light of amplitude E is incident on the interface XY separating two media of refractive indices N1 and N2 respectively, such that N1 is the refractive index of the rarer medium, means the air, and N2 is the refractive index of the denser medium, means the glass slab. Let R1, it is the coefficient of reflection in first medium. R2, it is the coefficient of reflection in the second medium. Similarly, T1 is the coefficient of transmission from first medium. Here should be from first medium to the second medium. What is T2? Coefficient of transmission from second medium in the first medium. Okay? So make a correction over here. It is T1 is the coefficient of transmission from first medium into the second medium. Similarly, T2 is the coefficient of transmission from second medium into the first medium. Now see, you might have done the definition of reflection coefficient and transmission coefficient in the previous semester, electromagnetic waves chapter. We have done there the definition of reflection amplitude. So what is the coefficient of reflection? It is defined as the ratio of amplitude of the reflected ray over amplitude of the incident ray. Then amplitude of the reflected ray must be equal to reflection coefficient times the amplitude of the incident ray. That means EI upon ER, it is equal to R1. So ER will be equal to EI times R1, means E times R1. Similarly, transmission amplitude has been defined as the ratio of the amplitude of the transmitted wave to the amplitude of the incident wave. That means this E upon amplitude of AB, it is equal to T1. Then what will be amplitude of AB? It is T1 times E, means T1 into E. Alright. Now see the second figure. From AC, I will retrace its path by keeping the mirror M2 in its path. It is being incident at M2 at 90 degree. It will create CA beam. Similarly, AB ray is made to retrace its path along BA by putting a mirror M1 in its path at 90 degree. So M1 will made the ray AB to reverse back along BA. Now for the point A, BA is the incident ray whose amplitude is T1 into E. At this point A, this BA ray will be partially reflected into the second medium and partially transmitted out. Alright. Now, similarly, CA ray is the incident ray at point A. It will be partially reflected along AO and partially transmitted along AB. Alright. Now, how can I find out the amplitude of AB ray, AB dash ray from BA? Incident amplitude is T1 into E. Reflection coefficient in the second medium is R2. So reflected rays amplitude becomes R2 times T1 into E. Similarly, AB dash ray is also the transmitted ray for CA. So CA ray has an amplitude of R1 into E. So what will be the transmission amplitude in the second medium? It is T2. So it becomes T2 times R1 into E. So here what did I do? I have assumed that T1 is equal to T2. I have just assumed that T1 is equal to T2. So T2, by putting equal to T1, I'll get AB dash amplitude as T1 times R1 into E. Now AB dash ray, it is the total ray absorbed in the medium. Its amplitude must be equal to 0 because see, I have already put the condition that there must be no absorption of the ray in the medium. So this amplitude must be equal to 0. See, I have written over here, let the incident ray OA and so on, each and everything is written over here, you can read it out. I will directly reach to the topic. Now see, the total amplitude of the ray going along AB dash, it is E dash. I have taken it as E dash, means R2 times T1 into E plus T1 times R1 into E. This is the amplitude. Alright, equation number 1. But this amplitude must be 0 because we have assumed that there is no absorption of ray, means the amplitude of the ray going along AB dash must be 0. So I have put the value of E dash equal to 0. So by putting the value of E dash equal to 0, I'll get this equation. From here I'll get this equation. R2 is equal to minus of R1, means say R. If R2 is equal to R, then R1 must be equal to minus R. This is your equation number 2. Now this means that if the incident ray EI, it is E naught cos omega t, is reflected into the upper medium, its amplitude becomes ER1, means a reflected ray amplitude in first medium. It is R1 times EI, means R1 value is minus R. So minus R times E naught into cos omega t. So removing this negative sign, I will write it as cos pi plus omega t, because cos pi plus theta means third quadrant. In third quadrant, cos is always negative. So the negative sign has been absorbed by putting the omega t equal to pi plus omega t. Now similarly, also if the reflection in the upper medium, or you can say denser medium, its amplitude will become ER2. It means the reflected ray amplitude in the second medium. It will become R2 times into EI, means R times into E naught into cos omega t. So you can see over here, you can compare these two equations. What does these two equations are representing? If the reflection happens to be at the rarer, denser medium, see, the ray gets bented into the rarer medium, means incident ray is in the air or rarer medium, and reflected ray is also in the air or rarer medium. So there must be a phase difference of pi in addition to omega t. But if the reflection is in the denser medium and incident ray is in the rarer medium, then there is no additional phase difference in addition to omega t. So equation 3 shows that on reflection into the upper medium, an additional phase difference of pi is introduced. This additional phase difference is equivalent to a phase difference of lambda by 2. Apply the same equation. Phi is equal to 2 pi upon lambda into delta. So phi is given to be our pi over here. Delta you have to find out. Delta would come out to be lambda upon 2 pi into phi, means lambda upon 2 pi into pi. It comes out to be lambda by 2. So equation 4 shows that an additional phase difference of pi is introduced if reflection is into the lower medium. No additional phase difference has been introduced. Alright, so I am leaving over here. The next I will continue in the next lecture. Thank you so much.